Let's fucking go.
Welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I am here to review James Gunn's Superman. Now, this movie is the first movie in the new James Gunn-led DC universe. So I guess it's the DCU universe, the DC Cinematic Universe, and this is the #1 movie. And Superman, this is also the 11th live-action appearance of Superman on the big screen. Yeah, Superman has been in 11 live-action movies, including obviously the Christopher Reeves movies, the other one that came out, like Return of Superman, and obviously Man of Steel. But there's been a lot of movies over the course of the past few decades that have starred Superman in it. And let's be frank and honest here. Outside of some appearances in animation and the recent appearance on Lois and Clark on the CW, most live-action Superman appearances have been lackluster or just letdowns. Henry Cavill's Superman showed promise, but Zack Snyder bogged it down with so much darkness and melodrama that there was little room for hope to be seen in there. There was also little room for the sun in Zack Snyder's movies, but I don't want to go on and on about the fact that this is a character who gets his power from the sun, and yet Zack Snyder has lack of it. Oh, I'm sorry. Old habits. Anywho, this is James Gunn. We all know James Gunn from the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. He also did The Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. Those are in his wheelhouse. But also one of my favorite movies he did that no one really talks about, but I dug it, is Slither. In fact, I probably should do Slither as a classic review on here. It's something that always slips my mind, but Slither, which was the first James Gunn thing I ever saw, and I thought he was great in that. So when he came on to do the Guardians movies, I was surprised, because like I said, I'm like the Slither guy. But he did an amazing job with the first Guardians of the Galaxy. To me, the first Guardians of the Galaxy is one of the greatest comic book films of all time. It is in my top 5 comic book films of all time. And I hold the first Guardians of the Galaxy to very high regard because of what he did with that material. There was nothing to lean on. There was no fanfare for this. It was all him and his writing and his writers and whatnot working on this Guardians movie. It was almost a complete original idea that became this billion-dollar franchise. So I hold the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie to high regard, and I hold James Gunn to high regard. And he will work on Guardians 2, which was good, not great. Guardians 3, which I think was great. So James Gunn in the Suicide Squad movie, which also thought was great, very good to great. Peacemaker was a damn good show. I enjoyed Peacemaker. Can't wait for season 2. So James Gunn is coming into this movie as a heavyweight, as one of the big faces of the comic book genre, one of the heavyweights of handling these kind of source materials. The Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy director, the guy who made the Suicide Squad work, the guy who made Peacemaker damn near a household name. And I was a bit worried going into this movie. I'm not even gonna front, but I had no reason to be. James Gunn handled this movie very differently than he handled the Guardians movies. I was worried because I was like, I've only ever seen him handle the Guardians movies, really, or the Suicide Squad, which they're both just, degenerate, reject, misfit teams of people who have done a lot of bad and people who have done a lot of good. So I was like, but Superman's supposed to be hopeful. He's not supposed to have any of that. But I was wrong. I was wrong to have doubted him. As it turns out, James Gunn knows how to handle hopefulness. James Gunn knows how to handle Superman. And James Gunn delivered probably the best Superman movie since Christopher Reeve's Superman. Now, not to say, I'm not, now granted, I think that, I'm kind of being, putting my cards on the table up front. I enjoyed the fuck out of the movie, and I think it's one of the best superhero movies DC has put out in years. But it isn't perfect. And first of all, I feel like there's so much right about this movie that I'm going to just start off by talking about the things that I didn't particularly, I either felt mixed on or I didn't like. Which, there's only one thing I didn't like. All the other stuff I feel mixed on. First of all, I only have 3 things. Just 3. One is sort of a nitpick. I would say that some movies hold your hand. Some movies hold your hand. And some movies put you on the roller coaster without any guardrail or any harness, and they just go, I hope you survive. This movie kind of does feel like that. Now, for me and you, anyone watching my channel is a nerd. Anyone watching my channel probably knows a lot about DC and Marvel and comic book stuff. So we are going to be able to follow along. We are going to understand everything that's happening and understand that we understand who Mr. Terrific is and who Guy Gardner is and who Hawk Girl is and who Lex is and why Lex is doing what he's doing and who Lois is and the relationship between, we understand all these, the Jimmy Olsens, the Perry White, we understand the context of so many of these things. Or at the very least, we're open to having this much information thrown at us. That because we're in that world, we've watched this kind of shit, we get it. But I will admit, I could not help but from the opening text that they had where they were talking about, it's been 3 decades ago, metahumans came out and people started realizing metahumans exist. Like from that opening text on, it is like they just throw your ass in the deep end, dude. They really do. They just go, he's Superman, he's been Superman for 3 years, boom. Yeet your ass in there. And once again, I'm okay with that. But I can't in good conscience, there's 2 parts of me when it was happening. One part of me is me, comic book me, fan me, nerd me, who's like, oh man, this is so fun. I think they're doing such a good job with this. It feels kind of like Invincible in terms of the way they just launch you into this universe and go, and this is the world. You're just entering it. Shit been happening before you got here. But there's another part of me that is conscious of the fact that there is probably going to be a portion of the everyday audience who is going to be fucking confused. Look, I dug Guy Gardner and Hawk Girl, and I loved Mr. Terrific. But admittedly, they just kind of show up. There ain't no setup for them showing up. Sure, they mentioned, there are other metahumans, but they just kind of show up. There are many things throughout the course of the movie that just kind of happen. And it's like, well, you'll get it if you're a nerd. And I'm like, well, yeah, I do get it. I know why this happened. But, if I didn't, you didn't explain it at all. And it's like, there's a lot of this movie that really just kind of looks you, this movie just looks you straight in the face pretty early on and goes, are you going with it? If you're not going with it, I don't know how you better keep up. If you're going with it, come on. But if you're not, you're not. Thankfully, I think most people will. But it's just something I can't pretend like I didn't see, okay? I can't pretend like I didn't see that. Also, Lex Luthor gives me mixed feelings. One part of me, once again, is this is a Lex Luthor. This is a way better Lex Luthor than whatever the fuck Jesse Eisenberg was doing. And it's a Lex Luthor. And I can identify this. I'm like, this is classic Lex Luthor. Even his motivations, don't want to spoil it. His motivations, why he's doing it, how he's going about it. So much of it is Lex. But it's not, this is just a me thing. It's not particularly my favorite version of Lex. This Lex Luthor is, let's just face it, he's just a hating ass bitch. That's what he is. He is just a super hater. It's imagine the worst troll, the worst hater you can come up with in your brain, and then imagine that hater was a billionaire and super smart. That's what you would get Lex Luthor. So much of him is defined by him just being a hating hater. And so much of his dialogue, and I didn't mind it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was cool. I liked Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor. But so much of him is wrapped around that. I'm not gonna say he was he was a comedy character. I wouldn't go that far, but he's not that far off from a comedy character. Even the way it all kind of breaks down on him. It's crazy. He kills someone in this movie, minor spoilers, and I still didn't find him that intimidating. And maybe this is just my bias, and like I say, this is just the version of Lex Luthor that I imagined growing up on, because the Lex that I used to see in the Justice League animated series and certain versions of him is just this planning, conniving. He's more like Moriarty in Sherlock Holmes, where he's just this scheming, planning, conniving. He's cool, calm, collected. There's a mask there. This version of Lex is more emotional. He's more emotive. He wears his emotions and stuff on his sleeves a little bit more. And that's just not my favorite version of Lex, though I do appreciate this version of Lex. And I do think he did a great job as the version of Lex they decided to go with. It's just I'm more into the cold, calculating, methodical version of Lex. But hey, it's still a version of Lex. I still enjoyed it. It was still comic book accurate. You know, just not the one that I'm personally into. Let me think. That might be it. Well, okay. There's a character that pops up in the end, which is kind of just hand-fisted in there. It just kind of happens. But I digress. Other than that, great time. Great time at the movie theaters. The action is fun. The visuals are fun, stunning. The characters all over the place are cool. The relationship between Clark and Lois and his family and all of it works, dude. All of it works top notch. Honestly, the action sequences are just cool. Krypto is a scene stealer every time he appears. Even because they actually treat Krypto like a real fucking dog, which works because they treat him like a real dog. And like a real dog, he doesn't always do what you want him to do, but he's always there when you need him to be there. He's always around you. He's barking like a real dog. He's a little shit, but you still love Krypto. And David Cornsweet as Superman is the best Superman that there's been. He plays him with so much humility. He plays him so down to earth. Also, one of the things that like Henry Cavill's Superman lacked, and I hate to harp on this, is you never really felt like he was this farm boy, that he was this all shucks, I want to do the right thing guy. He would say it, but it never really came through. Cornsweet, on the other hand, everything he does comes through like he is this innocent man, like he is this pure good man. Even his interaction with the other superheroes, they even get tired of how goody he is. He is so good. I mean, this dude doesn't even curse, man. He replaced curse words. Like, I'm like, oh yeah. And like you could tell he was, and I love the version of Mom and Pa Kent too. They seem real. Everything about him seems so grounded and real. He seems like a genuine, real, just this super nice guy. I remember there's a line in one of the Justice League, in one of the animated movies where Batman is fighting Superman, and Batman says, deep down, Superman is a good guy, deep down I'm not. And really, you really buy that here. He is genuinely a good, down-to-earth, honest man. And it's something that I said in my review, I made a video not that long ago saying why I'm hopeful for the Superman movie. And I turned out to be right. I'm not going to toot my own horn here, but I turned out to be right because it's exactly how James Gunn approached this. This movie isn't about Superman struggling with with being Clark Kent. This movie is about Clark Kent struggling with the responsibility of being Superman. And that plays through so much. And the relationship between him and Lois and the relationship between him and the public is just, what do I represent? Who am I? And that comes through so much. And Cornsweet plays it so earnestly. Honestly, I can't wait to see if, hopefully this movie does well so we can get this Batman thing kicked off. Because I can't wait to see him interact with a Batman-like character, because Cornsweet's so earnest, he's so down to earth. Like I said, dude, this is the best of this type of performance I've seen since Chris Evans as Captain America. It really does feel like as massive as this dude is, you could genuinely. This is the first time that there's been a Superman where I genuinely believed if you wanted to go have a cup of coffee with this guy and just talk about some bullshit, he would do it. He'd just sit down with you, full suit, talk about some bullshit and have a cup of coffee with you. And that's how down to earth he feels. Oh, the Krypto stuff helps too, keep him down to earth, because you're like, damn, Superman even has trouble with his dog, you know? Like, I love that guy. I will tell you this. I am excited to see that version of Superman again. I will be excited to see a sequel to this. James Gunn, he kicked it off right. I would give Superman, James Gunn's Superman, this is a 9 out of 10, baby. This is a 9 out of 10. This is a hell-raising start to this DC universe. If he can keep this going, I don't know, man. Sky's the limit. Anyways, thank you guys for joining the Comic Movie Show. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.